Today's What If video is sponsored by Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to use the link in my description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. Enjoy the video. I know. The last cliffhanger was a little unfair, but come on. We've got to give you the goods and make it feel so good. You'll thank us later. Hey folks, MasakoX here. Now, if you're surprised to see the same story being done in the same week, then you're actually kind of in luck. During the rest of this month, we are running through the same story from start to finish, right up until December 31st, so that we can have something rather special for this holiday season. For this particular story, we are looking at something which I think a lot of people have often considered, especially when Dragon Ball Super came back, and that is, what on Hiffle happened to Videl? Myself included. Where did her personality go? Where did her passion for fighting and martial arts go? When did she become such a background character with even less backbone than Chi-Chi? I mean, at least Chi-Chi screams enough to be heard sometimes whenever Toriyama feels like it. In Super, Videl is just a piece of damp cardboard. But in any case, we're taking this bull by the horns and asking what might have happened if Videl got the chance to train and kept going with it alongside Gohan. So this narrative has been something that I have really wanted to do all year, and I've been really waiting for the right moment to unleash it upon you all. I didn't want to go in immediately. I wanted to think it through. And I'm not tackling this exercise on my own. No. I am working on this outline for this particular story with the likes of Haverock and Sophie B. Powerhouse, linked to her What If channel up top, to try and figure out and explore through our collective What If experience, as well as our knowledge of the Dragon Ball show itself, to see what would realistically happen if Videl got stronger and worked more closely with Gohan in improving her power, not making it fanficky, but making it just seem logical. Would it make a difference? And how would she be useful in a Buu Saga with her being more able to try and help out with the lower half of the Dragon team perhaps? One thing's for sure, she is even more pumped here in this series than in the original. And if you know Videl at that time in the arc, she was pretty excited already. Before we continue with Videl's journey to becoming a better character, by the way, I wanted to stop by and thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Much like the daughter of Hercule is doing, you too can enhance what you know about a certain topic, or indeed discover a brand new field of learning via the hundreds of classes for the curious and the creative. You can easily find something with Skillshare's easy to use website. Now last month, I took part in Yi Yun Lee's class on writing character-driven stories, which I enjoyed immensely, and have now moved on to my next class, Kathy Fisher's Crafting Vivid and Immersive Scenes. This and many other classes are usually less than an hour long, so you're not overwhelmed with days and days worth of content, and you can choose what pace you wish to progress with. If you wish to give Skillshare a go, head on down to my description and click the link there. The first 1,000 people to do so will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. Thank you so much for listening, everybody, and let me know down in the comments what area of expertise that you wish to enhance. Now, let's get back to Videl. We resume our story with the first surge. Videl and Spopovich begin their battle, and Hercule is watching from the sidelines, with a mixture of confidence and uncertainty. Sure, he had just seen his daughter the other day benching half a ton, something that he could struggle to do. But was that actually something to be proud of, and would it be enough? Was that Gohan all show and no substance? He decides to walk over to Gohan and project the aura of an authority and defending champion, as well as a very serious father. "Hey punk!" Gohan turns looking confused. Me? He says with timidity in his voice, hardly acting like a punk here. "You had better not be teaching my daughter a bunch of parlor tricks! I remember you lot during the fight with Cell, using all those illusions, and Videl's not one for those fantastical things. If she gets hurt on my watch, it's on you, boy. I've got my eye on you." Gohan then tries to calmly explain that those weren't tricks, internally exasperated that after all this time, Hercule still thinks what they did was fake, not the real deal. When Hercule turns away and looks to the ring, watching his daughter, Gohan's pleasant visage changes into a look of disgust. "I know what I'm doing, old man." He rarely looked down on his elders, but right now, he decided to make an exception. Vegeta was also watching the fight as well as Piccolo, the two serious warriors keen to see what Gohan, the as of now strongest fighter on Earth, well, before Goku came back, as well as his new pupil, would fare in this contest. Would the former be right in thinking that Gohan had gotten soft with his studies as of late, or would Piccolo be vindicated? The fight was very exciting for all to see. Videll's concentration was higher than in the original, and she was able to use her small stature to her advantage with her extra speed, and easily outrun Spopovich, which made the hulking giant quite irritated. But despite this annoyed mood being extremely nettled, he really did not speak. On the sidelines, Yamu was getting a little worried. "Master Bobbity is growing impatient, Spopovich. Finish this already." His expressions are more human than his comrades, but he too was focused on the matter at hand. Gather energy for their master. Videl, though, was getting more and more pumped. She felt as light as a feather, and got hit after hit on the big lug with very little effort. But over the next few minutes, she decided to turn up the wick, as it were, and her punches and kicks were getting stronger and stronger. Spopovich had absolutely no answer to this agility, and this is despite his strength being quite high. His technique was sloppy, and that was very bad. Even with this enhancement from Barbady, it was not enough to outmatch a recently trained and extremely passionate young fighter. Videl was thrilled. Gohan too was absolutely transfixed with this battle. Even Hercule was starting to soften to the idea that his daughter was showing real promise. In fact, she was probably outclassing even himself. He had better have been careful if she actually made it to the grand final and faced him. I mean, was the time right for the next generation to take over? Or did he want to be that really rare thing of being a back-to-back world martial arts champion? He was mulling over the headlines and potential PR spin on this notion when Videl decided to make his mind up for him, seemingly, landing a critical blow on Spopovich. Having played keep away, dodging him for a while, Spopovich's stamina had reduced to the point where he had fallen down on his stomach, unable to get up, in the middle of the arena. Before he could do so, Videl had launched herself into the air and landed a massive double kick to his lower back, not enough to paralyze him, but enough to make sure he wouldn't go anywhere quickly, before jumping backwards and then punting him off with a simple kick out of the ring and out of the tournament. As you could tell, Videl's a kicking girl. She could not believe the speed of it all. She'd won. She felt invigorated, as well as a little bit tired, but she had done it. She decided to chill a little bit, take in the atmosphere, and pull up the double arm lift and victory sign that her father was famous for, and the crowd erupted with delight. They had witnessed, just now, the start of Videl's adult tournament campaign. The young girl had carried on her chutzpah and spirited junior accolades and was now ready to follow her father's footsteps, ensuring a Satan legacy in the big leagues. Gohan was jumping for joy, and Piccolo shot him a look of pride. "Not bad, Gohan. I better teach you my clothespin so that you can deck around your colors, eh?" "Your colors, Mr. Piccolo. If it hadn't been for you, we wouldn't be standing here today. Thank you." Piccolo nods and looks to Videl's victory some more. As for Vegeta, his looks are more just, satisfied for the moment. Good. He's focused. Goku was just, wow, blown over. He was so stunned to see his first son becoming a proper master at such a young age. And even though that probably wasn't what Chi-Chi had in mind for him, it was still a properly momentous thing to witness. And speaking of Chi-Chi, even she was nodding in approval. As I suspected, Gohan is a great teacher. He will be an excellent professor before you know it. As Videl was about to get down from the ring to relax and prepare for the next round, something bad happened. Something shot right through her. A yellowish arc penetrated her midriff, and in that moment of shock, she had no clue what had happened. But everyone else did. They saw the whole thing. Yamu had fired a ki blast at her, and even though the wound wasn't lethal, it was enough to ensure that she wouldn't be getting back up again and interfering anytime soon. As you might have suspected, her vulnerability to ki and her inability to learn it at the moment got the better of her. She could not defend against that. Yamu cursed. "Damn it, Spopovich. I didn't want to have to get involved, but you left me no choice." In the hubbub, none of the officials or the cameras or the crowd had seen the trajectory of the beam, but Gohan and the Dragon Team did. Those two pale goons had something to do with this. Videl's eyes then suddenly shrank, realizing the pain. She looked horror-struck. The pain was building up inside of her, and she let out a howl before doubling over with agony. Gohan, without hesitation or question, leapt to her side and carried her off of the ring. Hercule runs to him and is about to give him a lecture, telling him to get away from his daughter, before looking on a vicious expression in Gohan's eyes. It then reminded the champ of the Cell games again. One thing he could definitely remember was not fake was that Golden Kid's eyes. They were practically the same as of right now. Get her to a hospital! Now! Gohan shouted. Videl then held Gohan's hand and looked in his face. Gohan, I'm sorry. I let you down. Before fainting, Gohan grits his teeth as Videl, along with Krillin, Hercule, and 18, took the stricken fighter to the medical center. Gohan then spots Spopovich getting up and dusting himself off. The announcer then informs the crowd in this unexpected circumstance that since Videl was unable to continue, Spopovich, simply by just getting up on his 2 legs, won by default and would go on to the next round against Gohan. Him being uncertain of her safety in future, he couldn't think of anything else other than making this person, Spopovich, suffer. Him and his lackey that put his lover's life in danger. Wait. Lover. He never got even the chance to tell Videl that he loved her. Everything had been such a whirlwind that he had just simply forgotten to utter those 3 words, let her know before the tournament in case anything had happened. If she died because of this, he didn't know what he would do. Now this differs from the original since he didn't go to the hospital here and gave Videl the beam. He had no idea in this scenario what would happen to her. It was all a mystery to him. He chose right now to stay and avenge her with fighting. When that battle came around, Gohan wasted no time to utterly devastate Spopovich. Unlike his normal self and being fair, he was cruel. In the original, he relented and stopped before doing massive damage to the fighter, but in the here and now though, letting out his rage in full Super Saiyan, Spopovich was sent careening into the stand, leaving rubble in his wake. Uncertain whether he had actually been killed or not, but Gohan didn't care. It really didn't matter. But yeah, he was barely alive and carted off to the medical center. Yamu realized that his partner was now out of commission, so this made things harder. Still with no word about Videl's condition, Gohan goes on to fight Kibito and showcases Super Saiyan 2. He is looking around at the others to see what their reactions are as he is doing this, and sees something strange. They look calm, like nothing bad had happened. Had they not realized what had just gone down, the seriousness of Videl's condition and situation? She could be dead, or at least seriously hurt, unable to fight again. And to his knowledge, there were no senzu beans to help her in the here and now. The longer they waited, the more she would suffer. All of this got to him. And this guy, Kibito, was not even giving him a fight to distract him. He was just standing there. But then Yamu jumped Gohan, like in the original, and slammed the energy vessel into Gohan, causing him great pain and draining his power. But no Spopovich was there to help pin Gohan down. As a result, the young man was able to push Yamu away before all of his energy was drained, sending the device skittering across the arena out of Yamu's reach. In a fit of blind panic, not wanting the mission to fail, with his friend injured, and now he vulnerable to a similar fate, Yamu flies towards the device, half as full as it were in the original, escaping to grab his friend and heading back to Barbady's ship. With enough energy to still stand and be functional, Gohan stood there, albeit a little dazed and confused because hey, he had lost quite a bit of energy. His anger had dissipated also, thanks to said drain. He wasn't overflowing with rage right now. Kibito bowed his head. I'm sorry I did not intervene with this predicament, but we needed that to happen. Now we may find out where our charge might be hiding. Please, allow me to help you heal. Gohan looks uncertain at this, but he could sense a calming aura from this tall white-haired man. He allowed him to do so, and the sensation felt right, much like how Dende would do in the past, but this was even more potent. The Dragon team are then met by Shin as the crowd figure out what to do next, and he informs the crowd, the Dragon team, about why Spopovich and Yamu were here, and why the latter had attacked Gohan. They were gathering enough energy and life force to try and revive a sinister evil upon the universe named Majin Buu. He himself was the Supreme Kai, Shin, the guy above King Kai, and even the Grand Kai, and this floored Goku to be meeting such an important person. Shin turned to Goku. I know all about you, Goku. I was hoping to meet you on my homeworld, in much more pleasant circumstances, of course, but we have no time to lose. We must hurry in pursuit. With that, the same posse as in the series, sans Krillin obviously, head off with Shin and Kibito. When Yamu and an injured Spopovich arrive at Barbody's ship, the wizard is looking unimpressed. He had watched the whole thing go down, but chose to keep a cool expression, acting like he was playing dumb. Well, about time you showed up. Show me the device then. He grabs the device and looks at the reading on it. He was hoping for more. Disappointing. I was expecting more, you two. What happened? Spopovich then decides to speak for the first time in ages.
Master Bobberty, we did our best, but those twerps were playing dirty and made our mission much harder than we had anticipated.
Yamu decides to roll with this.
Yeah, we did as much as we could, Master. That energy was straight from a golden warrior. That energy will be dense and amazing for you. It'll be more than enough.
Barbody was still not convinced, and then decided to break his cover. You lie. They both look surprised. Don't you lie to me, the great Barbody. I saw the whole thing. You let a weak human girl get the better of you, you lumbering oaf, he says, his eyes darting to Spopovich, who looks ashamed. And you, his eyes turn to Yamu. You acted like a coward. I would have rather had no energy and you go down valiantly than this. This, he shakes the device. It's cowardice incarnate. I have no use for minions who are not brave and are mightily stupid. He gives them a glare, and he causes the pair to contort, swell, and ultimately explode. The dragon team watch this from afar and are horrified. This potato-headed man was so cruel. As to be expected, said Shin. Babidi is a cold and vicious wizard. We must be careful from here on out. The gang are looking relaxed though, except the Gohan. He was still reeling with how complacent and chill the gang were acting, despite Videl being in critical condition, he thought. Well, yeah, the thing about that, and this is what I'm telling you, is that nobody told him that Videl was okay, actually. She had been given a bean from Krillin because, you know, it's Krillin. And the others would have told Gohan about this had things not been as frantic and they quickly had to dash off to Barbody's ship and try and save the world from Majin Buu. As a result, Gohan was keen to take out this being, building anger once more on this potato. However, Barbody could sense the whole thing, the dragon team waiting in the shadows. He could also sense a lot of anger and vitriol inside one of them. He squints in the direction of Gohan, as he sends Deborah to fight the rest of them. That one. If he could produce this much energy in a few seconds. Oh, if I had him on my side, he would make a useful minion. Finally, someone competent. I shall keep my eye on him. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you folks think? Does this leave the door open for Majin Gohan? Will Majin Vegeta be consigned to the scrap heap in this story? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!